Jai Hind class. Today we are going to start with the new chapter of the biology, that is management of natural resources. We have done about the natural resources in class 9th as well, that what are the natural resources. So the resources which we obtain from the nature, which are not being made by the man. So those particular resources which we obtain from the nature, they are known as natural resources. So if we talk about natural resources, we can obtain them from air, from water, soil, mineral, forest, etc. And on the basis of this, we are having two type of resources which we have also done in class 9th, as well as in, we must have done it in the chapter sources of energy as well, renewable and non-renewable resources. So if we are going to talk about renewable natural resource which can be renewed, which can be replenished in a shorter period of time, for example air, water, sunlight, forest, etc. And the second classification of the resources are non-renewable natural resource. So the non-renewable natural resource are the resources which can be replenished in a shorter, they cannot be replenished. We cannot actually replenish them in a shorter period of time. So we need to use them in a very, very effective manner. We cannot use them like that. We need to think before using them because it takes millions of years to be formed. And as we all know that we are using lots and lots of packaging material, and there are lots of activities due to which lot of waste material they are being produced, and those particular waste material they are being thrown away in the environment. They may go to the nearby water bodies, they are dumped in an open ground. So all these kind of we can say waste material, they generate lots of kind of pollution. It might be air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, etc. So in order to this, various steps they are being taken by the government year after year. So one such plan, this program was being launched by Rajiv Gandhi in 1986 to order in order to reduce the pollution of river Ganga. So if you're going to look that what are the different kind of waste which are being loaded into the river, we are having human waste, for example domestic waste like laundry, public waste, etc. Then we are having industrial waste, dumping of untreated waste into the river. We are having various kind of religious activities and even they are also being performed in the river Ganga. So these are the various kind of activities. Due to various kind of waste, they are being dumped into the river Ganga. So in order to reduce the pollution of river Ganga, this particular program, it was being launched in the year 1986, and the name of the plan is Ganga Action Plan, and the basic objective is to reduce the pollution of river Ganga. So these are the examples of the various natural resources. We can just go through this particular slide. We are having water, fossil fuel, mineral, we can say air, sunlight, everything. So whatever we are using, everything is being given by the nature, and it actually depends on us how we are using it. If we are going to use it thinking about the future generation, thinking in a sustainable manner, we can actually preserve them from our future generation also. Now the next question comes that why do we need to manage it? It is the same thing. Why do we need to manage it, and what are the various we can say strategies which we can actually implement? So we are having 3 R's to save the environment. We are having reduce, recycle and reuse. That we have done in our junior class as well. Reduce. Reduce, as we all know, it is using or less of natural resource and avoiding the wastage of natural resource. Next is recycle. Recycle means the material like paper, plastic, glass, we actually use for making things which can be used for making new things. Instead of synthesizing or extracting new paper, plastic, glass or metals, we are using the same thing and we are making something from these particular things which we can use again. Reuse, that you must have seen in your home also, that means using things again and again. It might be like plastic bottles in which we buy jams, pickles, etc. We are actually reusing them again and again. Now children, out of these 3R strategy, that is reduce, recycle and reuse. Now reduce, we are not using any energy. In reuse also we are not using any energy. In the recycle, some amount of energy is invested whenever we are making something new. So we can say out of the 3Rs, recycle is the only R which require little bit of energy. Rest of the 2R, that is reduce and recycle, they are much better as compared to recycle. Now the next is, what is the need for the management of natural resources? The first thing is that equitable distribution of resources. That means these resources, they are available to each and every section of the society. It is nothing like this that these particular resources are available only to the handful of the rich people or to the powerful people, because power and money, they are the two forces which work against the equitable distribution of resources. So we should use them in such a manner that they are not only fulfilling the need of the present generation, but they are also fulfilling the need. We are actually conserving them, we are actually preserving them for our future generation. Long-term planning for the use of natural resources so that it lasts not only for the present but also for the future generation. In a way, we are talking about sustainable management of resources. The exploitation of natural resources, it should not be for the benefit of few people, but it should be distributed equally for all. And while extracting, when we are extracting these natural resources, we should also plan for the safe disposal of the waste. It should not be something like this that we are extracting them and a lot of pollution is being caused. So there is no way that we are actually using these natural resources, but in a way we are also causing pollution to the environment, to the soil, to the water, to the air. So this is the most important thing, that while we are extracting them, we should also have a plan by which we can dispose them safely. So this is the need, so that they are actually available to all the section of society, and whenever we are actually using them, we should use them in a way that we are also conserving and preserving them for the future generation. So in a way we are talking about sustainable management of resources. Okay, now when we are going to talk about the natural resource in this particular chapter, we are going to talk about only three things, that is forest, this is the first natural resource, the second would be water, and the third would be fossil fuel. Now we must have done about forest in geography as well as in any other subject as well. Why do we require forest? What is the importance of forest? They help to preserve biodiversity. They are a kind of habitat for animals, for the many tribal people who are living in and around the forest. They help to maintain ecological balance, various cycle, biogeochemical cycle, whether we are talking about water cycle, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, all the cycle, they are actually dependent on forest. They also help to maintain the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in the nature, because we all are aware that the trees, they play an essential role, because by the photosynthesis they release oxygen and they also absorb the CO2 for the process of photosynthesis. So, and they also help to prevent soil erosion, and they also control flood. Now the next is stakeholder. What do we understand by the term related to stakeholder? Stakeholder in any organization, they are the people who are directly or indirectly, they are involved in the management of the organization. For example, in case of school, so who all are the stakeholder? The stakeholder would be the management, principal, teacher, student, parent, and all the employees who are being employed in the school. In the same way, in case of forest, we are having majorly four stakeholders: the people who are living in and around the forest, then we are having the forest department, then we are having the wildlife and nature lover, and at the last we are having the industrialist. So these are the four stakeholders in case of forest. Now what is the role of the local people? What are the benefits they are getting from the forest? So the local people, they are getting the many things from the forest. They actually depend on the forest for their livelihood, and they can collect, we can say, nut, medicine, their food from the forest also. Forest is a kind of home from them. Then we are having industrialists. Actually for the industrialists, whatever product they are obtaining from the forest, they act as a raw material for their industries. Then we are having the forest department of the government. They actually own the forest and they control whatever resources they are getting from the forest. And in the last, we are having the nature and the wildlife organization who want to conserve and preserve the forest. Now, out of these four stakeholders, the most important stakeholder would be the local people, because in any natural resource, whether it is water, forest or anything, until and unless local people are not taken into consideration, their choice, their judgment is not taken into consideration, we cannot conserve any kind of natural resource. This is the bottom line of this chapter, that whenever we want to manage any natural resource, if we are making a number of plants, it might be made by government, by this industry or that particular person, but until and unless we are not taking into consideration local people, that what kind of climatic condition are present in that forest. The local people, they are the people who are living in that forest for hundreds and hundreds of years, they are actually aware. So the local people are the most important stakeholder, because forest, it's a kind of home from them, they are getting food from the forest, they actually know in and out of the forest, so they will not do anything which might destroy the forest. Now, conservation of forest. What are the various plans, what are the various measures by which we can conserve the forest? So we are having afforestation, that is planting of more trees, by preventing or reducing deforestation, by preventing overgrazing by the cattle, by setting up wildlife sanctuaries, national park, biosphere reserve. So all these particular things we have done in class 8 also, undertaking various programs like One Mahotsav, Chipko movement, etc. That means by spreading awareness among the common people, among the masses, as well as in the upcoming future generation. That means all these particular programs can also be celebrated in various schools, so everyone is aware that we need to conserve the forest. Now there is one particular Andolan, that is Chipko Andolan or Hug the Tree movement. Now this particular movement, it was being started in the early 1970 in the, we can say there was one village, in the Rini village of the Garhwal district. Now in what happened in this particular village, there was a dispute between the logging contractor and the we can say the villagers. The logging contractor, he want to cut the trees because he want to use that particular tree for his own benefit, but the local people, they were actually against it. So what happened once, when the manfolk of the village, they went outside to earn their livelihood, so the logging contractor workers, they come. So what happened, the women of that particular village, they came and they hug the trees, they clasp the trunk of the tree and they say that you cannot cut the tree. If you want to cut the tree, you have to cut us first. So this particular movement, that's why we called it as Chipko Andolan or Hug the Tree movement, because the women, they hug the tree and they say you cannot cut the tree. Slowly and steadily this particular movement, it spread across the area and we call it as Hug the Tree movement or the Chipko Andolan movement. So apart from that, there are many and many examples which we are going to study in this chapter, which actually prove only one point, that it's only any particular natural resource, whether it is forest or we can say water, it can only be managed in an effective manner by the local people. Now the next is, we are talking about wildlife. What is the importance of wildlife? Because it helps to preserve biodiversity, it helps to maintain food chain and food web. We get a useful product like we can say food, medicine, leather, bones, honey, etc. And how can we conserve the wildlife? By preserving the natural habitat of the animal, by protecting the endangered species of animal, by setting up wildlife sanctuaries, national park, biosphere reserve, etc. And children, one thing we should take into consideration, that everything cannot be done by the government. It is only you and we who can actually work, we can join hand to hand for the conservation of anything, whether it is forest or it is wildlife. Now the second natural resource which we are going to talk about, that is water. Now first of all, we are going to talk about uses of water. We all are aware of how do we use water. It is a basic necessity for all the living things. We use water for daily needs, for agriculture, transportation, construction of building. It is a natural habitat for all the aquatic organisms and human activities. Number of human activities, it might be industrial waste, it might be any kind of activity. They are affecting the availability of water and they are also causing pollution to the water bodies. Now we must have also studied about dams. Why do we build the dams? You must have done it in class 9th as well as in class 8, and you must have done it in geography as well. So what are the advantages of dam? They actually help in the irrigation of crop, in the production of electricity. With the help of the dams, we can supply water to the towns and cities, and they also play an important role in to control floods. So these are the advantages, but what are the disadvantages? For example, whenever we are going to build dam on a large scale, the first problem is the social problem, because it displaces a large number of local people who are actually living in that particular area. The second thing is that economic problem. A lot of public money is actually invested in this particular thing. So this is the particular problem, and the major problem is that a lot of money is being invested, but everyone is not getting benefit. It had been observed that the people who live in an area which is near to the dam, they grow crop which require lots of water, and the people who are living in an area which is far off from the dam, they are not getting appropriate amount of water. The third is environmental problem, because whenever we are going to build dam, it causes deforestation and the loss of diversity. So this is the disadvantages of dam. So whenever we are going to build dam, or whenever we are going to implement any mega project, the thing is that we shall take into consideration the need of the local people. Whenever we are forming any committee, any particular person from the local area should also be taken into consideration. They should be a member of that particular committee. Otherwise, any mega project, whether it is dam or anything, there is no use. So these are the pictures of the dam. You can just look at the pictures. So after that, so now the dam, it is the particular mega project. Apart from that, before independence, the water as a resource, it was into the hands of the local people. Actually, local people, they have done lot of things by which they can conserve and preserve the water. So water harvesting or rainwater harvesting. As we all know, it is the collecting and storing rainwater for future use. And the common methods are digging pits, pond, lake, etc., building small earthen dams or concrete check dams, construction of dikes, reservoir, and construction of rooftop collecting units in houses. So these are the various kind of, we can say, local things which are being built by the local people, because they are aware that where they can collect the rainwater and how they can use them. And what are the advantages of this particular water which is present in the underground? The first advantage is that it won't evaporate, it would spread out and it would recharge the well, it provides moisture, it does not get polluted easily, and the most important thing is that it does not provide breeding ground for mosquitoes and housefly. So water harvesting is just collecting and storing rainwater for our own benefit, for the future use by the local people, and these are the advantages of the groundwater. So these are the different methods of water harvesting. You can see in different regions these water harvesting structure are known by different names. They are being called khadans. We can also call them as khadans. Then we are having tanks, nadis, tal, surangmas, different names as in different region as per the requirement of the people. So these particular different water harvesting structure, they are being built by local people, taking into consideration their need and what do they require from the water and how do they want to store it. So that's why water harvesting structure, we need to revive them again. Now this is particular rainwater harvesting which they have shown that how we can do the rainwater harvesting. If you can look at the diagram, it had been shown that we are having a metal, tile or plastic roof where water is being there. Then we are having some filter unit are also being, we can say, inserted, and we are having a roof catchment and the rainwater goes down and then it is being captured in the, it slowly seeps into the ground. Now children, the last particular natural resource which we are going to study in this chapter, that is coal and petroleum. Now coal and petroleum we have done in the chapter sources of energy also as fossil fuel. As we all are aware that they are the fossil fuel which are being formed by the decomposition of dead plant and animal inside the earth after several million of years. These are non-renewable resource of energy. We cannot renew them. That is why whenever we are using them, we should use them in a very judicious manner. We cannot use them like this, because petroleum reserve may last for about 40 years and coal reserve it may last for about 200 years. So if you are going to use them like this, it might be possible that our future generation, our children or the grandchildren will not be able to use it as a fuel. Now coal and petroleum, it contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and sulfur, and when we are actually going to burn them, so they release lot of gases which is harmful for the environment. They release carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, and as we all are aware, carbon dioxide, it's an example of a greenhouse gas which causes global warming. And oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, they may combine with the moisture in the air and produces, and it actually leads to acid rain. So this is, they have just shown an example. You have done it in class 8 also. What is an acid rain? How is it being formed? That the oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, when they combine with the moisture present in the upper atmosphere. So this is how acid rain is being formed. So what are the ill effects of global warming? Melting of polar ice, rise in the sea level, so it might lead to flood also. The temperature is also increasing day by day. So the rise in sea level, melting of polar ice. So this is about the chapter. In this particular chapter, we had studied about the three kind of natural resource, that is forest, water and fossil fuel. And we have also studied about how we can actually preserve and conserve them for our future generation. Thank you class.